How to create great looking, user-friendly forms for the web using some of the best practices out there. So let's get right into it. When it comes to form labels, these should most of the time be top aligned and capitalized. Never use full uppercase letters, as this makes labels harder to read. Placeholders can display an example of the intended formatted value you want the user to type. And remember, placeholders should never be a replacement for labels, so don't avoid labels in favor of placeholders. When you have a more complex format, you can use masks and delimiters, for example for amounts or phone numbers, like you can see here in the example. Avoid using abbreviations when possible, and if you must use it, consider adding a helper text right next to it showing the full name. Also, make sure you size the fields accordingly. When it comes to the different states an input can have, always show at least the default focus state. If there's an error in the form, highlight the label and input to clearly inform the user where the error occurred. And also, you should provide additional information on how to solve the error, like with this email input. We are clearly showing the error, but not only that, we are also showing how the user can fix this error. Checkboxes are a great way to add the ability to choose between options. Just remember to place them underneath each other to allow easy scanning of this. In more complex forms, prefer using a single column layout instead of a multi-column layout, as the latter makes it a bit more difficult to follow. Whenever you have 6 or less options, don't use a dropdown to display them. Dropdowns involve 2 clicks and they also hide the information. Choosing from a finite palette of colors is a great example. We can just display all the options to the user for better scanning. Complex forms usually means multiple form sections or groups, so you should group related information together. With a title and an optional description, you should be good to go. If you are adding a password in your UI, consider using an indicator of the password strength. This builds trust in your application. If the form is too complex, consider breaking it down in a few simple steps. Each step and progress should be clearly communicated to the user with a progress bar and a step name, like you can see in this example. Try minimizing the ability to navigate outside of the wizard so users can focus on the form. Also, always provide back and next buttons to let the user navigate and possibly fix any form value. Always keep the number of steps to be less than 10, and at the end, provide a preview of the full form for the user to revisit. And that wraps up our guide on creating effective and user-friendly web forms. I hope you found these tips helpful and that you'll be able to apply them to make your forms more accessible and engaging for your users. Remember, the key to a great user experience is always in the details.